Friday, it was the NBA Cup, and I'm here to fill your cup with fantasy basketball goodness, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and when the missus is away, the fantasy basketball recaps will play. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms, of course. Bit of a bonus Friday night recap. I don't know when the next one of these will be, but it's here. It's now. And we're going to talk about the games because there were performances that we wanted to see. There are injury updates that we got. And I might as well just talk about that now because this team does not play today, and that is Kevin Porter Jr., who was ramping up to return from his ankle and then suffered a knee injury. Now he has to have surgery on a meniscus injury. They're saying at least 4 weeks. Very shocked if he's back in 4. That's a minor meniscus. Anytime you're cutting open your knee, it's not minor for a start. 4 is just ridiculous, best case, unbelievable scenario. It's probably 6, maybe 8, and then some limitations on that. So Ryan Rollins, let's cook. And by then, I guess gives more opportunities for him to have some struggles that Porter can come back in, or to really establish himself. If you need to drop Kevin Porter, go and do it. Right? You can't be waiting for a player that might not even start when he comes back. See you later. Bye-bye. Rollins, obviously just a must-roster player right across the board. No questions about that. There's going to be ups and downs without any sort of hesitation in saying that. But we're in a pretty good spot now with that news on Kevin Porter, which is terrible if you've drafted Kevin Porter. And they're great if you've picked up Ryan Rollins, which I'm in the case for both. So yeah, it's sort of a bittersweet moment for myself and my teams, but why would you care about my fantasy teams? You wouldn't, and you shouldn't. Should we talk games? Should we get straight into the first game of the day? We should, because this is what we're going to bang out on a Friday here, Saturday for me. The Atlanta Hawks and the Indiana Pacers. We still don't have an update on Rayford Young. He did tweet out something like, God doesn't make mistakes. I'd be like, Trae, like, bro, we've both got some problems up top. But I don't know what that means in regards to his knee. Apparently the MRI took longer to be done because they're on the road. Now he's here. I just don't know. Allegedly, we find out tomorrow about the results of this MRI. It sounds as though he's got the results, so I honestly don't know. I would say it sounds bad, but it's speculation, man. Like, I couldn't tell you. The other injury update we got is about Obi Toppin, which we will talk about when we get to the Pacers a little bit later on. Let's talk about the Hawks who beat the Pacers. It's the Pacers this game. Yeah, so we'll talk about it when we get to the Pacers side. The Hawks beat the Pacers 128-108, and if you are watching this live on YouTube or watching it later on YouTube, and you're complaining about the box score, I'm with you. ESPN, out of nowhere, just decided to change the formatting of their box score. I don't put those box scores together manually. ESPN just said, right, we're changing it. Okay. So I'm on the lookout for something that's a little bit better. I haven't found it yet. I am still canvassing and looking, and maybe I do something bespoke, although I don't have the skills to do it. But that is why it's annoying and it looks different. It was Nickeil Alexander-Walker that started. He played 32 minutes in place of Trae. He had 21, 3, and 3 with 2 steals. Absolute must-roster player while Young is out. He was a must-roster guy anyway, and now he's even more. There are going to be people who are worried about Kristaps Porzingis. He only played 23 minutes here. He had 15 and 8 with a block. I'm not too concerned about it, to be honest. The game was in hand. They're never going to push him when the game is in hand. And that helps if you drafted Onyeka Okongwu late. 14 and 9 for him with 2 blocks and 2 threes. Jalen Johnson, though, is going to get a massive opportunity to cook. He could be a top 15-ish, top 10 run for him. 22, 13 and 8, 2 steals and a block. He is going to establish himself, I think, as a star. And then, if you've been panicking about Dyson Daniels, the dustbuster, is this the start of something good? The shooting had been terrible, and we knew that was going to revert. That was obvious. We knew that was going to happen. He wasn't going to be a 20% shooter. This, on the other hand, at 62, he's going to also fall back down. But what is interesting is the other stuff. 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He got his 3 steals, and he had 18 points in 38 minutes. So, the absence of Young should enable more usage, and that was part of the concern I had with Daniels this season. The repetition of 3 steals, but also the lack of usage. You take out a 28, 29, 30% usage player, it goes somewhere, and some of it will go to Dyson. If you are in a double onyx, if you sit in a deeper format, Keaton Wallace, Kayson's brother, is a very, very strong source of assists. He had 7 assists here. He had 11 points with 3 threes. He's not going to be this level of a scorer. Expect single digits most nights. But getting assists is what he does. Playing well is not what Zachary Ricochet does, so you could go ahead and move on from him. 13 points with 3 threes, a steal and a block. And we had a lot of minutes from the Duck. Luke Kennard, he had 6 points. He is one of those guys that continually teases you. Gives us the old spiral. And if you know what that joke means, let me know. But there's not much going on. There's not a huge amount happening for the Duck. And he's absolutely not a must in a 12-team situation. What we can do, though, is now talk paces. Because this team continues to be frustrating and annoying, we've got a bit of a mess. Obi Toppin, who I did mention to you that I don't believe that he's back until January. It's longer now. It's February. Stress reaction, foot, surgery. I would go ahead and say that's it's honestly probably closer to the season. In my estimation, they're going nowhere, this team. Toppin, by the way, had missed 3 games combined in the last 2 seasons. Previous health does not predict future health. Anthony Edwards, Obi Toppin. The nail is going to be finally knocked into the coffin when Mikal Bridges eventually gets hurt. Knock on wood. Hope it doesn't, but that's when we finally knock it in. They made some changes. Or one change to their style up. We got another Jackson in there, Quentin Jackson. And that meant that Ben Shepherd moved to the bench. Now, Shepherd has been bad. We know this. And Jackson was fine. He's a solid player. 15 points in 22 minutes, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. But like with the centers, if you're chasing one of these guards, it's probably going to be messy. As for Shepherd, 4 points, 7 rebounds, still got good minutes. He just has no ramp ability. Move on. Mac McClung's game was okay, 12 points with 3 steals, but I don't care that much about it. And then Cam Corder Legend just couldn't get the shots off. He got them off. He just wasn't able to find the target. 8 points for Ray J. Dennis on 14 shots, 21%. He had 5 assists, he had 2 threes, and he had 1 steal. And what I'll always encourage you guys to do, if you picked up someone and you go, this guy's trash, it's terrible, what a waste, all right? Just put your finger over the points column for a sec. Just put your finger over it, or just do it mentally. I don't know where your fingers have been, so maybe don't put it on your screen. But just cover that. And 21% is very much not good. Very much not good. This is just a blanket statement. I think you all know where I'm going with this. Well, I hope you do. 3 or 14. Let's say that he goes 6 or 14. And one of those is a 3. So what is that? That is 7 extra points. And then what do we have? 15, 4 and 5, 2 threes and a steal. You go, bloody hell, what a good stream. I am a genius. And that wasn't even shooting 50%. Let's take another 2 points off that. 13, 4 and 5, steal, 2 threes. You go, not bad, but off the waiver, I'm bloody happy with it. He just shot 21%, and this happens. This is why, in head-to-head, percentages are so variable that it can be one of those advantageous scenarios to punt those categories or not place a gigantic focus on them. Or if you do, you've got to be so strong in them because they can just go absolutely wild at any point. So if you are considering is this bad? Is it a good one to do? Just take the percentage part out of it, or just try and normalize it and see what else looks good. See if it makes sense. And it wasn't bad. Isaiah Jackson had his best game, so what do we make of this? First game of a back-to-back 27 minutes. Does he play tomorrow? I honestly don't have any idea. Some days it's Huff, some days it's Jackson, some days it's Bradley. Jackson had 9 and 11, that's Isaiah, but no blocks. Am I bothered going to add him? No, I'm not. Because it's too up in the air. As a streamer, sure, Jay Huff had 2 blocks, he shot 25%. That could have been a lot better. That's actually 2 decent ones in a row from Huffy, but I'm not having confidence in it. But what I do want you to have a look at is Aaron Nesmith being terrible again. But again, the shooting should improve at some point. At some point. And Siakam struggled. I get we don't do anything. I guess the thing that you probably want to hear is, hello, because Jarace Walker started. He played 28 minutes, he had 17, 3 and 3, 4 threes, and actually shot the ball decently, which he doesn't normally do. He is a must-roster player now. Now, Toppin wasn't starting, so it's not like he's replacing Toppin in the starting lineup. He's just in there now because Mathurin, Nembhard, McConnell are all out. And then when Nembhard and Mathurin return, he probably doesn't start because it'll be Mathurin, Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam. But there is still enough playing time there, I think, that you can look at Jarace and feel okay about having him on your roster. So he is a solid enough add that's going to have plenty of variance and fluctuation. We've got more games to talk about from the NBA Cup, but today's episode, it is brought to you by Robin Hood. Your ambition, did you say Robin Hood or Robin Hood? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the same company. Your ambition just met its match. With Robin Hood, you play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, then beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by DoorDash. And with the NBA season heating up, DoorDash gives you the perfect way to keep you in your bag all season long. When you're watching the highlights, your fantasy players, your favorite team, your favorite players, DoorDash makes every game night even better. They've got they are the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something that they're calling the bag drop. So anytime an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. Plus, the next time someone drops that 50, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply, no purchase necessary, ends April the 13th, open to US residents 21 years or older. Visit DoorDashinYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Now, I also know that you've been waiting for this one because it was Josh Minott Day. He started again for the Celtics in the NBA Cup here against the Sixers. They got a big win, 109-108. So Minott, of course, must have been awesome. Yeah, 2 points in 22 minutes. 8 rebounds. That's good. 1 block. That's good. And I know that, I mentioned this today, that some of you ridiculously overspent on Josh Minott in Fab. I was putting $100 bids out of 1,000 on him. I do believe that he can at least maintain 25 to 28 minutes, 25 minutes, let's say 25 minutes, which is a top 80 to 90-ish player. All right. But $800, a full 1,000 Fab was ridiculous. But he is still someone that is going to have ups and downs very clearly. You can look at this and say, what a dud, I'm dropping. I would highly advise that you do not do anything close to that. It would be silliness, in my opinion, to have made that move here. He had 2 good games and 1 bad one, right? Minott in this game had 2 fouls basically immediately into the game. Now, he only finished with 2 fouls, but he had 2 fouls very early and came out. And he just shot horribly. Missed all 5 of his shots and went 2 or 4 from the line, including a couple of late ones. But, again, what else about this game? What else is interesting? He was in the closing lineup. He started the first and the second half. He played like 22 minutes. We're probably 6 minutes away from an optimal amount of playing time. The shooting, bad, right? No question about it. Let's give him 5 extra points, 7, 8, an assist and a block. That's not perfect. It's not ideal. But steals and blocks and threes, for a third example, we know the variance in these categories. He has 3 steals in the next game. That's an average of 1.5 across 2 games. Bang, you cook. You got it. That's exactly what you want. So, I'm not here to tell you that he's an awesome player. I'm here to tell you that he's a serviceable NBA rotation player who's got an opportunity to be a starter in Boston, who had a bad game here, and just don't drop him. I would not recommend dropping him. At some point, Derek White is going to shoot better. I don't think he's going to shoot well, but he's going to shoot better. 15, 4 and 4 with 2 steals and a block, or Jalen continues to pop up great numbers. I would always be interested in hearing an offer for Jaylen Brown as a sell high, because I do think that this team, there's going to be some shenanigans, and he has not had the perfect health scenario for him over the last couple of seasons. So Brown had 32, 3 and 6 on absolutely elite shooting stuff. Speaking of bad shooting, Peyton Pritchard, it is going to fall at some point. He is shooting like 20% from 3, 15, 2 and 5 with 2 steals. Didn't attempt a free throw, but he's 11% from 3. This is a man that is a 40% guy. And given the extended role, maybe we don't want 40. Maybe we get 37. One of the biggest, and I'll give you a spoiler now, there is going to be a buy low, sell high show coming later this week. He's going to be on it because this is like, we're going to be way better than this, like assured. There's also a bad night from the Pastel de Nata, Demesh Keita. He had also some early foul trouble. He had 19 minutes for 4 points. But he had 3 blocks. He was 100% from the field. Remains a 12-10 league guy. Anthony Simons scored well. But the problem with Simons is 19 points, 33%. And what else? And didn't get 30 minutes. He is someone who needs 30 minutes. I'm not saying that Simons is a drop, but if you're in a 130-player league, then he is. I just think he is. His pathway is not clear. And Slamming Sammy Hauser had 3 points in 24. He is a streamy sort of guy only. On the Philadelphia side, let's take a look at the Sixers, who made a change to their starting lineup. We saw Justin Edwards move to the bench and Jabari Walker move back in to start. Walker played 11 minutes. He had 2 points. So honestly, whether it's Walker or Watford or Edwards, it does not matter at all in that spot, which is the Paul George spot. And there's still Barlow and McCain who can fill in at some point. It is interesting that despite all these struggles, we're not seeing Grimes start, but he's playing starters minutes. Let's talk about Boner. Shout out to Rugiet. He played 11 minutes, Adem. I do not believe that rostering Adem Boner is a winning move in the vast, popular majority formats. Roto? Sure. Weekly league locks? Sure. Games cap limits? Sure. Incredibly deep benches that account for over 50% of your roster? Sure. Because these games, getting 2 blocks, doesn't do anything. Doesn't help you at all. And Embiid, minutes are up to 25. He had 20 and 6, 4 assists and 2 blocks. I'm not going to say he looks good still, but that's fine. And also, we're getting a nice settling of the dominatrix, VJ Edgecombe. It is still going to be impacted by George and McCain, and he probably doesn't get 40 a night. But 17, 5, and 5 on high efficiency, we love. And Tyrese Maxey, 14 assists to Maxey, and 2 steals and 2 blocks. He is dominating at the moment. He is ascending. I don't know that it holds at this high level, but it's bloody good, isn't it? Oubre also got real value, 17 and 9 with 2 steals, and Grimes, probably the lowest out of those 4, I think, even though I like him as a player. It's just the limited upside as a bench guy. 16, 2 and 3, and impacts with other players eventually returning. We'll come in and be annoying, I'm pretty sure. Let's do the third game of the day. My Toronto Raptors, they get a victory on the road in the NBA Cup over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, the Cavs were not at full strength, but let's talk Raptors first. They were also not at full strength because they didn't have Jakob Poeltl. What they did have was the big fella Jamison Battle just going completely crazy. 20 points in 15 minutes with 6 threes. I want you to look at that and just say, I'm very happy for you, my guy, and I just don't care. Because you don't. 7 of 7 from the field. It's whatever, man. This bloke launches threes. He's just not a regular rotation guy. But what that means is that Toronto, they actually don't care about Dick that much anymore. Grady played 5 minutes. He had 2 points. Surely nobody in 130, 150, 175, or even 200 player leagues is rostering Dick. If you are, you've got a problem. Brandon Ingram, 20 and 8, no threes, which is a bit frustrating. 5 assists and 2 steals, while Rowan Barrett had 20 and 3 with 3 threes and 2 steals. Scott Barnes, after a really good last game, just brutal percentages, but that's okay. 14, 10, and 6, triple one. And Emmanuel Quickley was also horrific. No free throws and 22%. But with Quickley, you got 6 assists and you got 2 steals. I know people are quite disappointed with him. To me, he was a guy to pick in the 80s or 90s range. He's not that far off it. He hasn't really been that much of a letdown to me this season. I think he could have done more, but the way the team is structured makes it harder. But he's actually doing more assist-wise than I thought that he would. Replacing Jakob Poeltl was Colin Murray-Boyles again. The rookie played 20 minutes and had 6 and 4. And no defensive stats. And no threes. And no assists. It was Sandro Mamukelashvili, who was better, 11 and 6 with a triple one. But I do think that without Poeltl, I think it's always worth taking a look at a guy with an interesting skill set, Murray-Boyles, who moves into a starting role. But the inconsistency is a thing for rookies. Rookies are bad, as a general rule. So if you don't want to hold on to him, don't. It's okay. You can't. Again, part of the process of playing, I think, is like, hey, could this be something? Could Jamison Battle be something? No, it couldn't. Could Colin Murray-Boyles be something if he finds the starting role and gives you a week or 2 weeks of something? Yeah, could be, but you don't know. We don't know how it works. We have skepticism, but that's the idea of the churn. That's the idea of the ad, of the get ahead of it, of the stream. So move on. It's okay. It's all good. Like I said, the Cleveland team was pretty banged up. Not only do they still not have Max Strus or Darius Garland, but Donovan Mitchell, who had a hamstring injury last game, played through it. Guess what he was out with? You'll be shocked to know it was a hamstring injury. And then Jarrett Allen had a finger issue that he broke apparently before the last game, played through it. We thought he said he might play through it, but he didn't. So they started Lonzo Ball and they started Dean Wade, two incredibly low usage players. That meant that Evan Mobley did a ton. 29 and 8, 3 steals and a block. That means DeAndre Hunter did a ton. And we know what he loves to do, shoot. 26 and 6 with 4 threes. Hunter should be on rosters at this point, especially while they are banged all the way up. I guess the decision now is do you consider Jalen Tyson? You've heard me speak about Tyson as an interesting sort of player, but the pathway to a solid role isn't really there. This team, four of their entire starting group, apart from Mobley, is hurt, and then the first replacement is also out. Mitchell out, Allen out, Garland out, Merrill out, Strus out. They're all starters. So Tyson, short term, yeah. If that remains the case, and I don't know that it will, if that remains the case, then Jalen Tyson can do things. He can shoot, score, rebound, assist, and steal. Will he do it consistently? No. Is the path there to long minutes? Absolutely not. Or long-term minutes? No way. But for now, sure. Let's have a look. As for Lonzo, this is, if you streamed Lonzo and expected more than 8, 5, and 5 with 2 threes and a steal, then something's wrong with you and your expectation, because this is what Lonzo does. And Dean Wade also gave you actually way more than you could have hoped for. 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks for Wado. I wouldn't be rushing to stream him in, but they are clearly, Luke Travers played 15 minutes. They are clearly really banged up at the moment. And that's going to open up opportunities for some players and create issues for others. We've got more games to talk about. That's 3 in the books. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. When the NBA back, there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you miss the start of a game and you want to jump in and see where you can ride the hot hand or use your knowledge to just get a bit of a leg up, a bit of an advantage, you can do that on FanDuel with live bets from everything to who will score next and fourth quarter comebacks. You can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay as well for a shot at a bigger payout. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. I am a bit scared about what the rest of this day brings because it's been a bloody brutal day. Oh, sort of. Well, the odds are not in my favor because if your name is Josh, it's been a stinker. Let's talk Knicks and Bulls as the Bulls remain undefeated. I knew it. I love the team. They are always striving for the best possible outcome, and it's just really paying off in spades. 135 Chicago, 125 the Knicks. Let's start with Joshy Hart, who went scoreless in 15 minutes and had 1 rebound. Now, his finger is messed up, his back is injured, and Mike Brown does not want to play him. He was the most insanely ranked player I think I've almost ever seen. Casey Wallace, 22, Ivica Zubac's 14 this season were close, but nothing suggested that Josh Hart should be as high as he was. But in saying that, I did not expect to be having to talk about Josh Hart being a not top 200 player, and honestly, not even sure he's got path to be a top 150 guy at this point. If you are in a situation where Josh Hart's on your roster, again, patience can be there, and you could see scenarios where he plays more. But it doesn't feel like it. So if you want to drop Josh Hart, do it, I think. I don't think you'll miss out on a huge amount. What we did have, though, is Mitchie Robinson returning. He took it from here. He replaced Landry Shamet in the starting lineup, and he played 20 minutes. He had 4 points with 11 rebounds. Would I rush to add Mitch Robinson? Absolutely not. Does that mean that I would care if you added him? Also, not really. He is very specific. Field goals, rebounds, iffy availability, they're the things he excels at. Is that for every team? No. Is it fine to stream in at certain times? Also, yep, sure. 11 boards on 67%. You love that. That's all really good. But I don't really trust the availability. But the fact that he is now back makes it way harder for Josh Hart. Juice McBride still got 29 minutes, while Landry Shamet, who started last game, played 15. McBride had 8, 2, and 2 in this game, and the opportunity for him was probably more likely when Robinson was out, so we can not worry about him in most spots. A very strong game from the Jedi OG Anunoby, 26, 4, and 3, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 scarf on 77% shooting, which will obviously come down, and the strong Mikal Bridges start continues. After Mike Brown says a lot of things. After Mike Brown said we're going to keep him at 35 minutes, he's playing 37 to 38 regularly. He had 23, 4, and 6. And one thing that's really impressive with Bridges this season is assist rate up, and the efficiency is sky high. Now, I do think there is going to be a regression in some of his shooting numbers, but he does look to be, now not all the Knicks are doing this, but he looks to be enjoying the Mike Brown experience. He looks to be, and also, we know, no matter how much they might play it off as a joke, he did not like what Tom Thibodeau was doing last season. He literally said it in public. He said, yeah, bro, can we have a break and trust some of these other dudes at some point? He said it, right? He did not like the Tom Thibodeau experience. So is there something to do with something in that in mindset creating better play? Maybe. Samples of one here, but I'm sure you can find other ones where that works. Brunson was fine, 29, 2 and 7. I would say that he's been sort of about the area that I expected him this season. Not a top 20 player, but in that fourth-ish round guy area. And Towns had 22 and 10, which again, pretty solid. Which I like to see solid when he's playing next to Robinson, because I have some concerns about how that all plays out. Jordan Clarkson appears definitely washed. He did have a bit of a locker room trip in this one, I believe. 6 points in 13 minutes for Jordy Clarkson. On the undefeated Bulls, on the undefeated Bulls side of things, let's talk about a good Josh, because we've had it really hard today. 38 minutes for Josh Giddey. 32, 10, and 9. Bad free throws, excellent field goals, high usage, 21 field goal attempts, and a steal. I don't think that I know he's not at the level that I thought he would be at. I still think he's going to get there, but I don't think you can have too many complaints about what Giddey has delivered so far. It was also a really big game from Ayo Dosunmu, who had 9 assists off the bench, but he did the thing. This is a guy, the 9 assists, sure, but almost without foul. Whenever you see a great Dosunmu game, it's he did it on 90% shooting, which is he had 80 here to get 22 points. He is a low volume player who does have good shooting games quite often, but it's hard to rely upon that sort of production. Fanapants had a bit of a trip to the locker room, but nothing is dissuading me from Kevin Huerter being a 12-team league option. Kobe White's still maybe a week or so away. 12 and 6, 2 steals for Huerter. And Vooch was also really, really strong with his scoring. He hit 4 threes. Weirdly, he went 2 of 5 from the line for 40% and had no defensive stats. And one of the big surprises of Vooch had been the assists, and they weren't present here. He continues to be really, really strong with his shooting, and it's obvious the last 2 years he has improved that a lot. I still don't buy the shooting as a general thing to be this good, but he's playing really well. Trae Jones, people are going to be concerned. This was it's a weird game, actually. They've changed a little bit of his rotation pattern, and he played just 24 minutes here. What this does, I'm not dropping Trae Jones now. He had 8 points on 8 of 8 from the line and missed all 4 of his field goal attempts, which is weird. He had no threes and had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. We must understand what Trae Jones is, though. Again, this is when you're always thinking about, this is a good pickup. We love what he's doing. Is he a good player? By NBA standards, no, he is average. He's an average NBA player who can have good moments and has inconsistency problems, who has trouble at times with volume and with three-point shooting. But he was playing well, and the opportunity was there. I don't know that this sort of 24-minute role here is going to be the new thing for him, even with old mate Kobe White out. It could be, I don't know. But he played this weird sort of role where he came out 4 minutes in, came back at the end of the first quarter, and then but then did it differently in the second half. And I don't believe he even started the second half. I think they actually changed the starters up in the second half. Let me double check that. Oh, no, he did start the second half. My bad. I am lying to you. But then came out and then had a different rotation again, where he then started the start of the fourth quarter. It's just a little bit all over the place in terms of that rotation that Trae Jones was using. The last couple have been a bit off for him, and I think long-term, I don't really expect that he is going to be a 12-team league option or 150-player option. He could be, but I'm not sure that he will be. What else happened in this one? Matas Bozella struggled, 13 points. He had a steal, he had a block. He was inconsistent with his shooting, and he has been a bit of a disappointment, but I do think there is a big buy low opportunity here. But a second-year player is going to have a lot of inconsistency. It is just what is going to happen for the majority of those guys. Now, the Lakers. Luka returned. So obviously that's going to have an impact on the things happening with the Lakers. Let's take a look at what that impact actually was. Well, Luka returns. That moves Jake LaRavia to the bench, but they also brought Marcus Smart into the starting group, moving Jared Vanderbilt. on to the bench. Let's talk about Luka first because, 44, 12 and 6 with 6 dribbles, 52 from the field, annoying free throws, but that's ludicrously good. Austin Reeves, was he still great? Yeah. Was he as good? No. Does that completely make sense? Of course. 21, 4 and 4, 2 threes. Didn't shoot well, but 9 of 9 from the line. He's going to be fine, just not a top 10 player. And then Marcus Smart, I didn't know Unk could play 35 minutes. He had 12, 3 and 4 with 2 steals. I wouldn't be overreacting to that, but at least there's some steals streaming there. And if you did try Jake LaRavia, you got an okay result, 13 and 5 with 2 assists and 2 steals. Is it one that you want to hold long term? Probably not, but that's all right. What about the Pizza? Rui Hachimura, 38 minutes, it's a lot. 9 points is not very many at all. And maybe he needs both Luka and LeBron out. He took 4 shots, the big fella, stealing a block with 2 threes. I couldn't bring myself to care any less about that line. We saw that when it was just Reeves, Rui had to step up, and he was okay. But that's not happening now, so if you want to say bye-bye, say bye-bye. DeAndre Ayton had a very weird game. It was a Snell 9 points with nothing else. He played 17 first half minutes and then never returned. They never really said what was wrong with him. His back or calf, or they're working on his leg and lower ass region on the bench. We will come to find out. But if you want to get super sexy, maybe Jackson Hayes is a short-term Mitchell Robinson-esque streamer. Now, is Jackson Hayes good? Of course he's not. But he can get you rebounds, he can block a shot, he can have high field goals. The holy trinity of spud big men. 2, 7 and 5 with a steal and a block for Jackson. And again, that's fine and all, but who cares long term? It's a short term little steal or little defensive big man type, you know what I mean, right? It fills a gap for certain people in certain fantasy leagues. In points leagues, it probably doesn't register really anything at all, to be honest, because there's no volume in any of that stuff, but there are little bits and pieces that he probably will be able to do. On to the Grizzlies side of this game. Their lineup was the same. They're still without Edey, Jerome, Pippen, Clark. Interestingly, two-way contract legend Javon Small did not play. I don't know if they're preserving his games. They might be. What we also got in this game is a very good game from Cedric Coward. And what I love about this from the chicken is that he did it without shooting unbelievably. 13 and 10 with 3 steals. Excellent from the line, bad from the field. But he was 4th on the team on shots, 11 field goal attempts in 26 minutes. Now, I don't know if he's going to start or not, but having a 26 usage game. Now, admittedly, he was a team worst minus 13, which is not great, in a game where, what was the final score? I didn't even tell you that, 117, 112. But overall, those numbers for Coward are pretty good. I think he probably settles in the 80 to 120 range-ish for category leagues. Points leagues, probably 115 outside that, but rebounds up and did it without shooting 1,000,000%, which is a huge, huge positive. KCP continues to be a weird, assists streamer. Another 5 for Kentavious here. He's only playing 24 minutes, though, and he is ceding minutes to Coward. Morant was really, really bad. 8 points on 21% with 7 assists. And Jalen Wells, probably his best game, 16 and 7 with 16 shot attempts. Now, again, is that the outlier? Is this game just completely weird? Probably. Jaren is just uninvolved, 15 and 4, no defensive stats, took 8 shots. That's what I mean. This game is weird. Jalen Wells led the team in shot attempts. And then Aldama had 12, Coward had 11, and Morant had 14. What? Cam Spencer took the Javon Small bench role, 12 points with 3 assists and 2 steals. He's not a bad player, Spencer, but we don't care a huge amount. And then this guy is actually providing some sort of deeper league value, but it is Jock Landau, who played 25 minutes, 16 and 5 with 2 threes and a steal. Now, his minutes in that will disappear when Edey returns, and then when Clark is there, they'll all fade away. But for now, he's doing at least some sort of an impression of being streamable. As for Aldama, whose last game was great, this one was not. 7 and 10, 1 steal. I think he's very much a peripheral 12-team league guy, 150 player sort of a player. He's fine, but if he's on the wire, I'm like, oh my God, why? Why would you drop Aldama? I don't feel that way. I think he's okay with very limited upside, because are you going to get a situation when more guys are out? Because that's probably what he needs. And we're also going to need Jaren Jackson to get that finger out of his ass, because this is not good. It's a frustrating lack of involvement from Triple J, Harren Haxon Jr. The next game. Let's talk about the next one. The Utah Jazz. They get cooked by the Suns, 118-96, the final score. Jazz trotting out the same lineup, but Keontae George just can't be stopped, I guess. I don't really get it. 17, 8, and 9. A steal and a block. Yeah, he shot horribly, but 82% from the line on 11 attempts. He has been ridiculous. Top 30 player somehow this season. There are things about this that we don't expect to hold, and I don't know what's going to happen when Isaiah Collier is back, but it does look like there's some real improvements that's happening with Keontae. And also Lowry, obviously. Now, Lowry's game looks good, and it is good, don't get me wrong. 33 points is awesome in 35 minutes. It's just quite empty in some other spots. 4 rebounds, no steals, no assists. Shot well again, big volume from the line. Really, he continues to be really good. Just a few things just lacking from some of the other games, and it was a rough Walker Kessler game. Only the 4 points, didn't shoot well, didn't hit a 3, didn't get a block, and only got 1 assist. But again, he has been really, really good. We just don't expect that level of production to be something that was able to hold. We got more minutes from Arius Bailey. Was that good? Not really. He had 2 points in... No, he didn't. He had 6 points. I lie. I shortchanged him. 6 points in 23 minutes with 8 rebounds on 25%. Now, he is working his way up into bigger minutes, but I asked you the question, if you're in a 12-team, 150-player deep category league, is it going to be worth it? I don't think so. It might be, and there might be little pockets where it's good, but I'm not sure that it's worth the hold. Bryce Sensabaugh is completely out of favor. He played 5 minutes. Kyle Filipowski played 10 minutes as a starter, and then that's how bad it got. They started Kyle Anderson in the second half. Yeah, bro plays for this team. Svi Mykhailiuk played 23 minutes and was scoreless, and we knew the Jazz were going to be bad. They surprised us early on, and this is more of a oh yeah, I forgot, they're bad. 9 minutes only for Walter Clayton as well with his 3 points, while Nurk is a nice little deeper league rebounds guy. He had 7 and 6, he had a steal and a block, which is, again, maybe I should have said it, rebounds and points, 6 and 7. Maybe that works better for you. But Nurk is a nice deeper league stream guy, but we saw some cracks sort of opening up in this one. We should talk about the Suns side of things because we get a little bit more data on some of their players here. They get the big victory. NBA Cup legends, Devin Booker, 36, 5 and 9 with 6 triples, elite field goals. That's really good. It's been a slow-ish start for Booker. Not bad, but slow-ish. Good game. Grayson Allen continues to be a 12-team league guy. 14, 7, 6, 3 steals, 1 block. But remember, still no Jalen Green, still no Dylan Brooks. Brooks' injury was updated to be a core muscle strain, which suggests to me he's going to be out for a few more games. Green should be returning soon. Colin Gillespie. While these guys are out, Gillespie is a 12-team league guy. When they come back, it does get squishy. 12, 3, and 6 steal block. He's just a very good player. The problem's always going to be, is there enough when 65 minutes of Green and Brooks are there? I think you got a bit of leeway, especially on Brooks. And then with Brooks out, Royce O'Neal continues to get it done. 13 and 5 with 2 steals. This team is just full of fantasy value at the moment, which is a little surprising. It wasn't a good Mark Williams game. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. 9 and 7, 2 blocks, only 25 minutes. But again, the game was a blowout. They can preserve him somewhat in games like this, while Dunn had one of his best games as well. 13 and 10 with 2 steals. I don't really care that much for rostering Ryan Dunn. That's more of a deeper league defensive steals stream option, but he still produced. I think, again, the opponent allowed a lot of that in this game, but there is a lot of fantasy value brewing in Phoenix at the moment. And then we had some wild stuff going on in the last couple of games. Jeremy Game Winner Revenge Game Grant gets it done for the Blazers over the Nuggets, 109-107. We'll start with Denver. They had the same starting group out there. Before the game, Jamal Murray was questionable, but he obviously played because they had the same starters out there. This game went right down to the wire. Like I said, Jeremy Grant hitting the game-winning free throws. Jokic didn't quite get the triple-double, so it's a bad game. 21, 14, and 9 with 2 blocks. Bad free throws for him, weirdly, but otherwise good. And Jamal was great. 22, 6, and 3 for the headmaster. Aaron Gordon, yeah, I do continue to believe that Gordon is a must-roster guy for any 150 deep leagues. And what we also got was better minutes for Cam Johnson. Now, were they good minutes? Not really. 9 points and 6 rebounds. I would still hold in 150 12-man leagues. 10s, it's debatable. And we're also seeing the folly in Christian Brown. He is a one-category guy, and that's field goal percentage. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block, 33%. It has been a really bad start for him. His usage is somehow even lower this season. He's not taking or hitting threes. He's not doing anything. I'd be more inclined to drop Brown than I would Cam Johnson, but both to me are very much close to the chopping block. You just don't get that much out of what Brown delivers. And another good game, by the way, from Peyton Watson. 10 and 4, 2 steals and a block. We know he's got that interesting fantasy-ish game, but he's been being kept at like 15, 16 minutes. Now, he's not getting 20 a night. And that makes it interesting. I don't know that we need to do anything like adding or anything like that, but it is making it a little bit more intriguing to at least take him into stream territory. The Blazers side of this equation, Jeremy Grant, 32 minutes off the bench, 16 and 5, but also brought the defense. Now, his shooting was bad like last season from the field, but he has been, again, really strong. And you probably do roster him at this point. I don't think that it lasts, but that's okay. Drew Holiday's strong start continues, apart from the shooting in this one, 11 with 13 assists. And Denny continues to be very, very strong, right across the board, 23, 4 and 4. What was interesting is Chris Murray, who is bad. Like, he just hasn't been a good player. He got a big role here. 29 minutes and played minutes ahead of Shaedon Sharpe. 10 and 6 for Chris with 3 steals. Now, that is interesting. I don't think there's anything actionable in that sort of a performance, but it's another disappointing game from Sharpe, who, unfortunately for Shaedon, he is giving very much the I am an empty scorer who struggles in every other area vibe. 24 minutes for Sharpe, 19 points. Now, that's good. The efficiency is good, but he just does nothing. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He does need, and one of the things we talked about in preseason, I thought that he'd get his 30 minutes and be a big usage guy. But that's what he needs. He needs big usage. He needs big minutes. And they're not coming. And I'm not really sure how that's going to go when Scoot returns. I'm not dropping Sharpe, but it looks bad. Tamani Kamara, also a much better game. 14 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 threes. It still can get better. The shooting was terrible, but that's a better performance. And then Don Clingan, 15 rebounds, 5 points. I do not believe that there is a big breakout coming from Clingan, but he still is a rosterable guy. But what we also saw is Rob Williams appearing, and I am going to be watching to see what they do with Rob. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 11 minutes, and a block for Williams. And is that going to cut? Like, that's obviously more than Young Hun Sen was doing. So could that be part of the reason that Clingan's minutes might push down? And they're going to go small a bit as well. So I don't think Williams is going to have any fantasy value really, but there could be an impact with him onto, old mate Don Clingan. And now we go to the final game of the day. Another nail-biter, and Kawhi gets the win over the Pelicans, who decided not only not start DeAndre Jordan, but to not play him at all. It was Yves Messi back into the starting lineup, but that means that Jeremiah Fears kept the starting position. So what do you do with Fears? He's going to have significant problems in his game, obviously. But he played 29 minutes. He had 13, 4 and 8 with 4 steals. Shot 29%. But those assists, those minutes, there's enough volume with the steals. You probably want to roster it. And I didn't think we'd get here with him. He's going to be up and down, absolutely. And what we also saw here is encouraging, is that he got 29 minutes and Jordan Poole played 33. Now, it's going to be very different, and there's going to be more concerns eventually when DeJounte Murray returns. But they both got 30 here, Fears and Poole, which does make that intriguing. So, yeah, I think Fears is probably an add. As for Poole, this is why you don't drop after that one performance. You wanted to see what would happen. 30 points, 7 threes. Shot the ball really well. I do worry about where it goes from here because that shooting is obviously ridiculous. But very good game. Trey Murphy also bouncing back, 17, 5 and 6. And Herb Jones had an okay game. He has been probably the most disappointing out of all these guys this season. Very quiet first half from Zion, but ended up with 29 points on somehow 85% from the line and 13 attempts. Had 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Still not a great game, but it wasn't looking anywhere close to being that good early. Well, we got a lot of minutes from Yves Messi. He looks more to me like a top 175 streaming 14-team league guy. 6 and 9 in 28 minutes with a block. Derek Queen played 13 minutes. The Blizzard, he had 6 and 5. And, of course, like I said, old mate DeAndre Jordan, just not in the rotation. Of course, yeah. I know, he only started against his former team. Yeah, cool. Just honor the man that you signed 2 minutes ago so he can get a start against his former team. Let's go to the Clippers side of this game, and they get the win, Kawhi with the game winner. Let's start with him, 34, 5 and 5 with 6 steals. It's a ridiculously good game. He also shot 69%, so who can complain? Well, Jimmy had 24, 5 and 14 and 2 steals, and what we also got, I talked about this the other day, is that if they're not going to use Brook Lopez, then there is a chance here for Zubats to do more. 34 minutes, 14, 11 with 3 blocks. Now, it's not the same level where he was at last season, but I didn't think that off the bat that they would just push Brook down to a small role. Lopez played 14 minutes. Now, again, people are, for whatever reason, rostering Brook Lopez. Do not do that. He's not a 10, 12, 150 player league. You don't roster him. this is helping Zubats. What is also happening here is that we're not getting very much John Collins. 14 points in 19 minutes. And I do think we will get to a stage where Collins becomes a drop. For now, you just hold on to it, but those minutes are not good enough. You got 29 minutes of Derek Jones, 16 points, and Beal had 20 in his return. You don't need to roster Beal in 150 deep leagues either. He's more of a 175 sort of a guy, and Collins is trending towards that. And that, guys, is an impromptu bonus Friday recap of the games across the NBA. And a lot of bangers, a lot of big performances, a lot of bad performances, as we have all the time. And if you enjoyed this show, I would like a thumb. I would like a double bang, an audio, a video, a comment, a hype, a sub, guys, and subscribe as well. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.